The atmosphere on the Kelly Clarkson Show was supposed to be cheerful as Meghan Trainor arrived to promote her latest music project. The audience applauded loudly as she stepped onto the stage, expecting the typical fun, bubbly energy Meghan always brings. But beneath the bright lights and upbeat music, subtle signs of tension began appearing early in the interview. What started as a standard conversation quickly shifted into uncomfortable territory, setting the stage for one of the most unexpected walk-offs daytime television had seen. Kelly Clarkson began the interview by praising Meghan's new single, asking about her inspiration and creative process. Meghan responded with her usual enthusiasm, sharing how excited she was about the album and how deeply personal some of the songs were. Kelly nodded along, smiling warmly, but then she pivoted to a topic Meghan hadn't expected to face on air. The shift in tone was noticeable, and fans watching later would point to this moment as the start of the tension that eventually exploded. Kelly brought up Meghan's recent public statements about motherhood, mental health, and online criticism. Meghan had spoken openly in the past, but she wasn't prepared for such direct questions in this setting. Kelly asked whether Meghan felt her honesty had ever gone too far, referencing moments when Meghan's words were misinterpreted online. Meghan tried to maintain composure, explaining that she only ever spoke from a place of authenticity, but the discomfort was visible in her eyes and body language. As the interview continued, Kelly pressed further, asking about controversies that Meghan had long since addressed. She mentioned specific comments Meghan had made years earlier about education and body image, topics Meghan had apologized for and moved past. Meghan explained that she had grown since then, but Kelly's follow-up question came off harsher than intended, asking whether Meghan believed she was contributing to her own backlash. The audience reacted with an uneasy murmur, picking up on the rising tension. Meghan, trying to keep the interview on track, attempted shifting the conversation back to her music. She emphasized her excitement for upcoming projects and the emotional meaning behind her lyrics. But Kelly didn't let go of the previous thread, again circling back to criticism Meghan faced online. Kelly insisted she wasn't attacking her but wanted to get real. Meghan, visibly frustrated now, took a moment before replying, her smile fading into a more serious expression as she attempted to stay composed. Sensing the interview slipping, Kelly tried softening the tone by complimenting Meghan's transparency as an artist, but the moment had already shifted. Meghan responded with short, careful sentences, clearly choosing her words. Fans in the live studio sensed she was holding back deeper emotions. Kelly then asked an unexpectedly blunt question about whether Meghan felt she was overreacting to online negativity. That phrasing struck a nerve, and the temperature in the room changed instantly. Meghan looked stunned. She clarified that mental health struggles aren't overreactions and that dismissing them contributes to stigma. While she spoke calmly, her tone carried a firm edge. Kelly attempted to clarify her point, saying she was only exploring how public figures deal with pressure, but by then the damage had been done. Meghan's frustration seeped through, and the tension between them became impossible to ignore. The audience sat silently, sensing an unfolding conflict. Kelly, noticing Meghan's discomfort, tried pivoting to a lighter topic, but her transition felt abrupt. She jokingly asked Meghan whether she ever regretted being famous, but Meghan didn't laugh. Instead, she explained that fame had its challenges, especially when interviews turned unexpectedly personal or felt more like interrogations than conversations. Kelly's face fell slightly, realizing Meghan was indirectly referring to the current interview, and the air grew even heavier. Another audience member later described the moment as emotionally suffocating, and viewers at home would soon understand why. Kelly attempted another recovery, but her next comment unintentionally reignited the tension. She suggested Meghan might benefit from taking a break from oversharing. Meghan's jaw tightened. She had publicly embraced openness as part of her healing journey, and hearing it framed as a flaw cut deeper than Kelly realized. Meghan paused, clearly debating whether to respond. When she finally spoke, her voice was steady but hurt. She said that being vulnerable was part of her identity and that no one should be criticized for being honest about their experiences. Kelly tried to interject, but Meghan continued, explaining that comments like those made people afraid to speak about their struggles. The audience erupted in applause, supporting Meghan, but the energy on set grew even more charged. Kelly, feeling the shift, attempted to step back, but the moment had already spiraled. She insisted she meant no harm and was simply highlighting how public scrutiny could affect artists. Meghan nodded politely but gave no verbal response. The pause between them felt long and thick, the kind of silence that speaks louder than words. For the first time in the interview, Kelly appeared genuinely uneasy, glancing at the producers off camera. At this point, Meghan's body language changed dramatically. She folded her hands, leaned back, and stopped smiling altogether. It was clear she had emotionally checked out of the interview. Kelly hesitated, unsure whether to continue. But instead of easing the topic, she attempted to rationalize her earlier comments, explaining that interviews were meant to explore all sides of celebrity life. That justification, however well-intentioned, only deepened the divide. Meghan tried once more to redirect the interview, but Kelly unknowingly pushed again, asking whether Meghan sometimes felt she played the victim on linear, an inflammatory question that made the entire audience gasp. Meghan froze, processing what she had just heard. Kelly appeared to realize instantly that she had crossed a line, but it was too late. The room filled with an unbearable tension, and Meghan's expression shifted from shock to disappointment. With a steady breath, Meghan calmly removed her microphone. Kelly reached out to stop her, but Meghan gently stepped back. "I'm not doing this," she said softly but firmly. The audience erupted into a mix of murmurs and gasps. Without raising her voice or making a scene, Meghan stood up from her chair, thanked the audience, and walked off the set. The cameras caught Kelly's stunned face before producers quickly cut to commercial. Behind the scenes, chaos erupted. Producers rushed after Meghan, apologizing repeatedly, but she declined to return. She expressed that the interview had crossed personal boundaries and that she felt disrespected. Meanwhile, Kelly remained seated on stage, visibly shaken. She spoke quietly with staff, realizing how her words had been interpreted and how deeply they had affected her guest. This was clearly not the kind of moment she intended to create. When the show returned from commercials, Kelly appeared alone, visibly emotional. She apologized to viewers for the incident, stating that her intention was never to make Meghan uncomfortable. She emphasized that live interviews can take unexpected turns and that she regretted the way her questions came across. Fans appreciated Kelly's immediate acknowledgement, but the internet was already buzzing, demanding answers and forming opinions. Within minutes, social media exploded with clips, reactions, and heated debates. Fans of Meghan defended her fiercely, accusing Kelly of being insensitive and disrespectful. Others argued that Kelly didn't intend harm and that Meghan overreacted. The hashtag #Meghan Trainor walks off shot to the top of trending lists worldwide. Some praised Meghan's decision to stand up for her boundaries, while others criticized the dramatic exit. Meghan stayed silent for the rest of the day, which only intensified speculation. Fans waited anxiously for her perspective. Meanwhile, entertainment news outlets replayed the clip repeatedly, analyzing every expression, every pause, and every subtle shift in tone. Commentators debated whether Kelly had gone too far or whether the moment was an example of emotional miscommunication on live television. It wasn't until the next morning that Meghan released a short statement on Instagram. In it, she said she had always valued honest conversations but felt the interview crossed personal boundaries. She emphasized that mental health and vulnerability should never be treated as weaknesses. The post garnered millions of likes and thousands of supportive comments, with fans and fellow artists praising her strength and composure. Kelly responded shortly after with her own statement, apologizing publicly. She acknowledged that her phrasing had been insensitive and reaffirmed her support for Meghan's openness about mental health. She also emphasized that she admired Meghan as both an artist and a person. While some fans accepted the apology, others felt the damage was already done. The clip continued to dominate headlines, sparking conversations about interview ethics and celebrity boundaries. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, both teams had private discussions. Insiders reported that Kelly personally reached out to Meghan to apologize again, and though Meghan appreciated the gesture, she wasn't ready for a sit-down conversation. She expressed that she needed time to process the event and preferred to focus on her music and family for the moment. The story continued to evolve online, with influencers, therapists, and public figures weighing in. Many praised Meghan for refusing to tolerate invasive or diminishing questions. Others sympathized with Kelly, suggesting the moment was blown out of proportion. Despite differing opinions, one thing was clear. The incident sparked a broader conversation about how celebrities are treated in interviews and the emotional expectations placed on them. Meghan's fans rallied around her, defending her boundaries and sharing personal stories of feeling dismissed or misunderstood when discussing their own mental health. The moment resonated deeply with people who had experienced similar interactions. Online communities praised Meghan for sending a powerful message. Walking away is sometimes the healthiest decision. The incident also triggered internal changes at the Kelly Clarkson Show. Producers reportedly introduced new guidelines to prevent interviews from drifting into sensitive territory without explicit consent from the guest. Kelly herself became more mindful on air, taking extra care to phrase questions thoughtfully. Despite the controversy, she used the moment as an opportunity for growth. Meghan continued focusing on her music, channeling the emotional weight of the incident into her creative work. Fans pointed out that she seemed stronger and more confident in subsequent public appearances. While she didn't address the walk-off again directly, her newfound assertiveness was easy to recognize. She had turned a difficult moment into a catalyst for personal empowerment. Over time, the intensity of the controversy faded, but the clip remained a defining moment in talk show history. It became a reference point in discussions about respectful interviewing, emotional boundaries, and the treatment of celebrities. Media students analyzed the clip, citing it as an example of how quickly tone and intent can shift in a live setting. Eventually, Meghan and Kelly had a private conversation away from cameras, according to insiders. That discussion was reportedly calm and respectful. Both women acknowledged the misunderstanding and expressed a desire to move forward positively. While they didn't plan a public reunion, the mutual respect remained, and both sides agreed to leave the incident in the past. Months later, Meghan gave an interview where she reflected on the experience without mentioning Kelly by name. She spoke about the importance of recognizing emotional boundaries and not staying in situations that feel harmful. Fans recognized the reference immediately, praising her maturity and emotional insight. Kelly continued her successful hosting career, now more cautious and sensitive in her questioning style. Viewers noticed the shift and appreciated her efforts to create a more comfortable environment for guests. She became an example of how hosts can grow from mistakes and adapt positively. In the end, Meghan Trainor walking off the Kelly Clarkson Show became more than a viral moment. It became a statement about personal strength, mental health awareness, and the importance of mutual respect in public conversations. The incident served as a reminder that even in the world of fame and entertainment, boundaries matter. And sometimes, the bravest thing someone can do is simply get up, walk away, and choose peace. In the weeks following the walk-off, entertainment analysts continued dissecting the moment, exploring the deeper implications behind Meghan's decision. Many pointed out that celebrities often endure uncomfortable interviews silently, fearing backlash if they set boundaries. Meghan's choice to walk away, they argued, set a new standard. It showed that maintaining emotional well-being should outweigh pressure to protect a show's flow or maintain an image of constant composure. Fans created compilations comparing Meghan's walk-off to other uncomfortable talk show moments involving different celebrities. The contrast was striking. While many past guests had stayed seated despite clear discomfort, Meghan's refusal to continue struck people as refreshing and empowering. Internet discussions praised her authenticity, claiming that stars shouldn't have to tolerate invasive conversations simply to appear agreeable or polite. Meghan's team, privately, expressed relief that she had removed herself before the situation escalated further. They had seen her handle difficult interviews before, but the subtle disrespect in this one left her feeling cornered. Her decision to step away helped her regain control over her narrative. Behind the scenes, her publicists worked to ensure the focus shifted away from drama and back toward her music, which remained her priority. Meanwhile, Kelly faced both criticism and sympathy. Some viewers felt she had unintentionally pushed too far, while others believed she should have recognized Meghan's discomfort earlier. Kelly acknowledged in private conversations that she wished she had read the room better. Still, she remained open to learning from the incident. Colleagues noticed she became more attentive to emotional cues from guests in the weeks that followed. As the buzz continued, producers from other talk shows reached out to Meghan, offering her platforms that prioritized positive and respectful interviews. Some hosts even publicly defended her, stating that guests deserve safe spaces. Meghan declined most invitations, wanting to avoid reigniting controversy. Instead, she focused on finishing new songs that captured the complex emotions she had been processing during this turbulent period. Music critics later noted that Meghan's new tracks carried a stronger emotional depth than her earlier work. Listeners sensed the shift immediately, praising the raw vulnerability in her lyrics. The walk-off had forced her to confront parts of herself that she usually kept private, and the resulting growth became woven into her creative expression. Fans appreciated that she turned a painful moment into meaningful art. Kelly's team strategized ways to prevent future misunderstandings. They implemented new pre-interview protocols where guests could clarify off-limits topics in advance. Kelly supported the changes wholeheartedly, realizing that emotional safety was crucial for authentic conversations. After the incident, her interviews took on a more compassionate tone, and viewers noted how she listened more intently and phrased questions more thoughtfully. Industry insiders observed that Meghan and Kelly handled the aftermath more graciously than many celebrities involved in public conflicts. Neither engaged in petty remarks or social media drama. Their mutual professionalism helped escalate the tension. The entertainment world, often fueled by controversy, found it refreshing that both women focused on accountability and personal growth instead of extending the conflict. Meghan's fan base continued to grow throughout the situation, with many admiring how she represented self-respect. Discussions about emotional boundaries gained traction on social media. Inspired by her actions, people shared personal experiences of stepping away from harmful situations, using the hashtag inspired by the event to encourage others to prioritize their well-being. Meghan inadvertently became a symbol of emotional empowerment. The incident also sparked debates among talk show hosts and journalists about interview ethics. Workshops and discussions emerged within media circles, exploring how to balance curiosity with compassion. Meghan's walk-off became a case study in recognizing discomfort and respecting boundaries. Hosts were reminded that guests are human beings, not characters created for dramatic television moments. Meghan eventually returned to the spotlight with a televised performance of her new song. Fans noticed subtle changes in her demeanor as she seemed stronger, calmer, more grounded. When interviewers complimented her authenticity, she accepted the praise with humility. Though she didn't reference the infamous walk-off directly, viewers could sense that the experience had contributed to her renewed confidence. Kelly, too, moved forward. She shared on her show that she had been reflecting deeply on empathy, communication, and the power of words. Without mentioning Meghan, she spoke about learning from mistakes and striving to do better. Her honesty resonated with viewers. They appreciated her vulnerability and willingness to grow, recognizing that even seasoned hosts can misjudge a moment. Over time, the walk-off became less about drama and more about the lessons it taught. Both women emerged from the situation stronger, more aware, and more intentional in their careers. Fans often pointed out that the aftermath demonstrated emotional maturity from both sides, a rare occurrence in the entertainment industry. The event became a reminder that growth is possible even after uncomfortable conflicts. Months later, when Meghan was asked in an interview about personal boundaries, she simply smiled and said she had learned a lot about protecting her peace. She encouraged others to trust their instincts and remove themselves from situations that feel emotionally unsafe. Her message resonated widely, generating applause and touching many who struggled with similar issues in their own lives. And so, what began as an unexpected clash on daytime television evolved into a powerful narrative of respect, growth, and self-advocacy. Meghan Trainor's decision to walk off the Kelly Clarkson Show sparked conversations that extended far beyond the entertainment world. It reminded millions that it's okay to set limits, okay to say no, and okay to walk away when necessary. In the end, both Meghan and Kelly emerged wiser and the world walked away with valuable insights.